Hello everyone, and welcome to the Mobalytics patch 8.3 video tier list. With this patch, we will see the new introduced rework for Swain. Now for this patch on our tier list, you will not be seeing Swain because it's a little bit too early to tell. We'll definitely be testing him and keeping an eye on his win rates and play rates for the next patch to see if he'll be there, but for this one, you'll see him missing. Anyway, let's get right into it with top lane. For top lane, this is one of the least impactful patches in terms of top lane changes, so you won't see too much changed on our list. A few mix arounds have happened in A and B tier, but Gangplank and Camille still own the top lane for their very prevalent laning phases and teamfight late game scaling. Mostly for top lane for this patch 8.3, what was good last patch is still going to be pretty good this patch. Onto the jungle, we still have Warwick and Kha'Zix for solo queue S tier, but we see a new addition in Skarner. Skarner has bumped way up and has completely rocketed in terms of priority. He has basically gone from 0 to hero and has spiked massively with one of the highest win rates all around the world. He did receive buffs quite a while ago, and whether it's with Aftershock or Unsealed Spellbook, pretty much anything that you want, you will see him do well. Due to his win rates rising and high elo popularity over the last week or so, we think that with a simple learning curve, we think Skarner is definitely an optimal pick for climbing this patch. One other jungle champion that I would like to note is actually Ivern, who we have moved up from B to A. He seems to do better and better these days, and currently the rank 1 player in NA has been playing him quite a bit. He also was picked a few times over in EU and in EU LCS. Although he isn't the easiest jungler to learn, once you know his pathing and can play him correctly, he becomes a great option and really is easy to execute. Moving on to the mid lane, where things have been shaken up quite a bit, we still have Aurelion Sol in S tier, but now we have Taliyah and Twisted Fate. Katarina and Azir have dropped out of S because of their direct nerfs, but both are still pretty good and find their way on our list, but Taliyah and Twisted Fate have made it into S due to this high level of roaming playstyle. Currently, the mid lane meta has a lot to do with roaming and shoving as fast as you can and looking to make plays and move with your jungler. It doesn't have too much to do with 1v1s and dueling. And the 3 champions that we've picked in S tier are no exceptions to this rule. Not in the slightest, these are probably the 3 best roaming champions for mid lane. Aurelion Sol, Taliyah, and Twisted Fate are very high priority in both solo queue and now even in competitive play, and these champions with their roam heavy style is definitely the way to go. One other note I'd like to make while we're on mid lane is about Zoe. Now Zoe did receive nerfs on her Q, but they're very minor and will mostly go without notice. And the reason that we don't put Zoe in S tier, even though she is ridiculously overtuned, is partly because our experts still feel players in solo queue are not playing around her as well as they can, but there is no doubt whatsoever in competitive play that Zoe is a really good champion and most likely will be nerfed in the future. We do have her in A tier, and she's probably that 4th kind of S tier champion, but we still think Aurelion Sol, Taliyah, and Twisted Fate are better for solo queue. On to the bot lane for marksman or AD carry, we have Twitch and Varus in S tier. Varus right now is insane. He's being played in competitive play a lot, in solo queue a lot, and he's doing really well for win rates, and this build is the on-hit build, not poke with lethality. This champ has a lot of utility with their ultimate as well as E giving grievous wounds, which makes it much easier to kill tanks, and honestly this champ is just really good for solo queue. We did have Cog basically in his spot before, but with Cog receiving direct nerfs, this means that Varus has basically replaced his spot. But because there are just so few AD carry champions in the game, we can basically recommend every single champion on our list from B to A. All of them are very usable and you can definitely use to climb in solo queue. Lastly, let's talk support. For S tier, we have Taric, Braum, Alistar, and Janna. These champions have been holding it down for quite a while in S tier and we think they're really good, but we do have a new addition in Sion support. Sion is always that really interesting case for support, and he used to have the highest win rate for all supports, but remember he had a very low play rate. But for as long as it has been, which has been well over a year to a year and a half of Sion being a very high win rate support, we basically got to put him in here. He is a good support and we recommend you to try him. Lastly, let's talk about Bard. Bard topped the win rate chart for 8.2 in Korean solo queue, but we did not move him to optimal because he's still relatively unproven for competitive play and does not hold as high of a win rate in other regions. However, if you know a champion is strong in Korea, they must be pretty darn good, so make sure you give Bard a try. Get involved with our community by checking us out on Discord, Twitter, and Facebook, and make sure you check out the product at mobalytics.gg.